Welcome back to the Ornery PSA, hosted by me, Susan MeeLing. I'm gonna do a few different readings of stuff, and just give you a little bit of history on the Quadrangle, because I find it interesting. So hold on, because these little guys are coming around trying to be ninjas, but they're not. They're not ninja little birds. Anyway. Back that up. The Quadrangle is the hub of military activity in Texas. After the Army arrived in San Antonio in 1845, the facilities were established in San Antonio to command and support military operations in Texas. Headquarters for the Department of Texas were in the Vance Building. The Quartermaster Depot was in the Alamo. After the Civil War, the Army considered moving out of San Antonio, but a gift of land by the city allowed the Army to stay. Construction on a new Quartermaster Depot was begun in 1876 on what would be called Government Hill. To provide office space for the headquarters, the second story of the south side of the Quadrangle was extended to the full length of the building in 1877 to 1878. When living quarters for the headquarters staff were completed in 1881, the headquarters Department of Texas moved into the Quadrangle. Note the size of the windows on the ground floor storerooms. The new buildings were constructed in the shape of a hollow square, a quadrangle, with the storerooms on the ground floor on the east, west, and south sides. The storerooms had more than 50,000 square feet of storage space. Along the north wall were blacksmith and wheelwright shops, with stables and corrals beyond that. Offices for the staff were built in the second story of the south side, taking up about one-third of the building's 624-foot width. The Quadrangle enclosed an area of almost 9 acres. Construction was completed in 1877. The tower. Plans for the Quadrangle included a 90-foot stone tower with a station at the 60-foot level for a watchman and a water tower tank in the top. The center photo above shows the tower as completed in 1877. In 1882, the water tank was replaced by a clock above right. The clock was replaced in 1907, and the clock face was changed to the way it looks today. Geronimo was an Apache war chief, and Geronimo and other Apaches were held prisoner in the Quadrangle during 1886. They lived in tents in the northwest corner of the plaza. The headquarters, by 1916, the military activities commanded and supplied from the Quadrangle had grown to such an extent that the headquarters and depot functions could not both fit in the building. As the headquarters expanded, the supply activities were moved out of the Quadrangle in 1922 into a warehouse complex east of New Braunfels Avenue. This left the headquarters as the sole function in the Quadrangle. Since it became a headquarters in 1881, the Quadrangle has been home for the Department of Texas from 1881 to 1913, the Southern Department from 1913 to 1920, the 8th Corps area from 1920 to 1942, the 3rd Army from 1942 to 1944, the 4th Army from 1944 to 1971, the 5th Army from 1971 to 2005, and the Army North, or 5th Army, from 2005 till present. Above left, the interior Quadrangle in 1916 still shows considerable supply activity. In the below left, the front of the Quadrangle facing Grayson Street is in 1916. The enlargement of the windows on the ground floor shows that some of the storerooms have been converted to office space for the headquarters. In 1917, all of the rooms on the ground floor were converted to office space. That exhibit that you are looking at was prepared by the Fort Sam Houston Museum. And if you have any questions about it, call 210-221-1886. Let me get a little... Ninja. I see you. I see you. Alright. Birds. Alright. This is about the Fifth Army. The Fifth Army was activated in Ouida, Morocco on 5 January 1943. Its mission was to train troops for the invasion of Sicily. Entering combat with amphibious assault at Salerno on 9 September 1943, the Fifth Army was the first American field army to engage the Axis and spent the longest time, 602 consecutive days, in rugged terrain against a determined enemy. It was also the first to liberate a European capital, known as Rome. Troops of the Fifth Army participated in 5 named campaigns, which included 2 amphibious assaults: Naples, Foggia, Anzio, Rome, Amo, North Apennines, Po Valley. Fifth Army was inactivated in 1945. Fifth Army in Italy. The Lieutenant General Truscott awards the Distinguished Service Cross to a soldier of the 92nd Infantry Division. Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark turns the command of the Fifth Army over to Lieutenant General Lucien K. Truscott on 16 December 1944. The 5th U.S. Army at Fort Sheridan left and Fort Sam Houston right. Reactivated in 1946 in Chicago, Illinois, the 5th U.S. Army commanded units and installations in the north-central continental United States. During the Korean War, 5th U.S. Army provided a steady flow of trained units and soldiers to the U.S. forces in Korea. The buildup of forces for the Vietnam War saw the 5th U.S. Army provide trained units and soldiers, including the mobilization of the National Guard and Army Reserve forces. In 1971, headquarters 5th U.S. Army moved to Fort Sam Houston. Through the end of the Cold War, the 5th U.S. Army supported the training of reserve components throughout the central third of the United States. Following the invasion of Kuwait in 1990, the 5th U.S. Army mobilized 213 reserve component units in support of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm to liberate Kuwait. By the end of the 20th century, 5th U.S. Army was responsible. Some ducks have some shit to say right now. Silly geese. Following the invasion of Kuwait in 1990, the 5th U.S. Army mobilized 213 reserve component units in support of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm to liberate Kuwait. By the end of the 20th century, 5th U.S. Army was responsible for supporting the training and mobilizing the reserve components in the western half of the United States. Honor Guard, composed of soldiers mobilized from the units within the 5th Army area, participates in the Victory Parade in Washington, D.C., and mobilization of the National Guard Reserve for operations in the Middle East focused renewed attention on the training of citizen soldiers. Following the events of September 11, 2001, the 5th Army mobilized more than 125,000 soldiers and 3,600 units in support of the global war on terrorism. In 2006, the United States Army North, or USAR North, was established as the Army element of the United States Northern Command, U.S. Northcom. In 2008, Army North reached full operational capacity. U.S. Army North conducts homeland defense, civil support operations, and theater security cooperation throughout North America in order to protect the American people and the American way of life. This includes natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and weapons of mass destruction. On order, Army North will command and control deployed forces as a Joint Task Force or Joint Forces Land Component Command. Army North perpetuates the lineage and honors the 5th Army and is authorized the display and the wear of appropriate 5th Army heraldic items. Army North's ITT Falcon deployed on training exercises, communication van deploying by air, and the state-of-the-art communications coordinate the response. So, yeah, there's that. You know, whatever. So, you know, if going off of gonna go off of metaphors, OUGDA is kind of like Ouija. Holy Roman Catholic Church is somewhere near Sicily and Rome. 602 consecutive days, well, that depends in reference to enemy stuff. I mean, I'm not the enemy, but whatever. There's like all that. Yeah. Florence and liberation of Rome and avalanche. Are you freaking kidding me? Po River crossing. Yeah, okay. Heralds and honor. Yeah, Medal of Honor art project. And so yeah, there's all that. And so yeah, and then like the reference to like Geronimo, right? Because somebody had to be willing to take the leap, metaphorically, for the headquarters and shit. So you know, yeah, we're okay, whatever. Yeah, so there's a little baby G's with their little booties. And those guys not being ninjas. Yeah, I see you with your phasers. Yeah, I see you. Yeah. It's no big deal. Yeah. You wanna say hi? Yeah. What you doing? You're a pretty bird. Yeah, you're a pretty bird. Yeah, you're a pretty bird. Yeah, that one just does not care. Cute little birdie. I mean, not necessarily not caring, but, you know. Just, yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see you. With your pretty little feathers. Kind of looking like a African gray the way I painted it. At Asher Holmes Elementary School, the way the feathers are. When I did the mural, it's a little weird. I mean, I was only in 6th grade, you know, but whatever. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're not a ninja. Not a ninja. You're a birdie. And you are not a ninja trying to come closer, like, at all. But yeah, I'm like 2.5, 3 feet from this one. It's just doing its thing, no problem. Yeah, what's going on? You're a pretty bird. Yeah, you're a pretty bird. You're a pretty bird. So, there's an emergency. So, you guys have a good one. Yeah, you're a pretty bird. You're a pretty bird. You're a pretty bird. I see you. I see you. He's gonna walk on. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're not that big of a bird. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, you're a pretty bird. Alright, you guys have a good day. So, yeah. That bird is not a ninja. That bird is not a ninja. Anyway, go to my website, www.susanmeeling.com, and forward it on social media and stuff. And you guys have a good day. Brightest of Blessings. Bye.